Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's a brand new video every 24 hours. I don't know if you've seen, but the cryptocurrency market fell like over the last day or two. It's kind of been consistently falling. It's actually kind of been happening since around Friday. If you didn't know, well, now you're well informed and you're understanding where we currently are. There's going to be a lot of confusion as to why this happened, but there's very simple answers for it. And it's stuff that we've also been going over the last couple of months. A lot of times, I'll give it to you this way. When I say stuff, it's because I know stuff, not because I can tell the future, but more so because of simple laid out logic. We've had a lot of terrible, absolutely deplorable economic policies that have been rolled out over the course of the last 9 months or so, and none of them in any capacity or form have been good for the US dollar. If you've been missing it and somehow missed the news multiple times that we were talking about over the course of this year, the US dollar has lost around 15 to 20% of its value since the beginning of this year because of enormous amounts of economic policies. We were talking, I want to say February, March. That was when we got the first news or ideas of what would happen if the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates. You must have been here at some point for one of those days where we kept on getting news from, it was Deutsche Bank and it was Bank of America and JP Morgan, all the big names, you name all of them, and they all kept on saying that if the Fed, they were expecting 3 to 4 interest rate cuts. If you weren't here, we were expecting 3 to 4 interest rate cuts over the course of this year, basically one per season. The issue actually has to do with the fact that because of new terrible economic policies, a number of countries, this is no longer just 5 companies, these are countries who are de-dollarizing. They're really getting away from the US dollar, US treasury bills, US bonds, basically anything to do with the United States and its economy. As such, the US economy has been faltering. Not sure if you've seen it. Long gone are the days where we would get job reports that 200,000 to 250,000 jobs, 500,000 jobs had been created. If you didn't see recently, the actual numbers are roughly around 20,000 jobs that were created. And even then, a lot of times those numbers are falsified because what happens, for those of you who don't know, is that companies will say that they're hiring. We're trying to hire 15 people. But what they actually end up doing is holding a bunch of interviews with people. And then they usually end up hiring one person for the actual, almost said one people, not 2 people, one person for the actual job when they said that there was 15 so that they can show higher projections for the amount of jobs that were created. We're looking for 15 people for jobs, therefore 15 jobs have actually been created. They only plan on hiring one person, and usually sometimes they also fire one person to kind of make up for that because they find someone for the exact same job who's willing to take a little bit less in their paycheck. So when the Fed did lower interest rates, I think this was it last Wednesday or something like that, they announced that they were going to be lowering interest rates by 1/4 of a point. And then the Bank of China said that they were leaving their interest rates changed, and Japan was going to be doing the exact same thing, also leaving it unchanged. Japan, for the most part, for the last decade or so, if not more, has kind of been the place where companies and governments have gone to basically get a free money. And when they raised the interest rate, you might remember when they rose it by 1/4 of a point or something like that. It was earlier this year or last year. Remember when markets fell? That was because people were using them as basically 0% free money. If they raise it, the markets go down because the market is addicted to basically free money and debt. This is why we're in a debt crisis. So when they say that they're leaving it unchanged, markets also fall further because people want this free money over here, and it keeps getting more and more out of reach as the interest rate kind of stays the same. So As we have been for some reason or another the last 3 years, more and more correlated to the stock market. As the stock market and the economy doesn't do well, crypto doesn't do well. Now, I know that there are at least 5 of you out there scratching your head and saying, that doesn't seem correct. Yeah, it shouldn't be. That's the weird new narrative for the cryptocurrency market. The idea of Bitcoin has always been when the economy does bad, that's when Bitcoin does well. That's when Bitcoin goes up. That's when Bitcoin kind of thrives. But as we have seen the last couple of years, as I kept on telling everyone out there, this like intertwining more, that actually hurt. Jeez Louise. The intertwining more and more of traditional finance with Bitcoin and crypto and all these other things. The main players in the space now are people in Wall Street. So when literal Wall Street doesn't do well, they also take it as a time that Bitcoin won't do great anymore either. So basically, the stock futures opened up like the last 2 days. People have been looking at them and they also haven't been doing too hot. And you would normally assume it has to do, or rather it would do better because we got news that the Fed was going to lower interest rates. The opposite happened because of a number of countries unchanging their interest rates, and also the United States announcing that they're going to lower their interest rates as the US dollar is already faltering. So the US dollar is already under a huge amount of extra pressure from inflation. Inflation doesn't just come from the Fed lowering interest rates, it's in general. Whenever banks create money, whenever anyone takes out a mortgage, like it adds up really, really fast. And in this economy, as people are looking for new and clever and interesting ways to make money or to invest or trying to make some kind of gains, as everything is toppling or falling apart, they turn to the idea of the US dollar. The US dollar is not doing too hot, therefore everything else isn't doing that great as well. So the introduction of the Fed announcing that they're going to lower interest rates is exactly what I was saying a couple of months ago. It will eventually, at some point, be good for people who hold assets. The problem is that the majority of people on the planet do not hold assets. The majority of people in the United States do not hold assets. So what's about to happen is grocery prices are about to go higher, as are land fees, property taxes, the cost of buying a car, the cost of rent, the cost of everything else, and also no one's really hiring and they're actually only letting people go. So, who knows where this is going to take us, but it's going to be a very interesting ride. I looked around for news this morning and also the last day and a half. There's still a lot of optimism for the cryptocurrency space. A lot of analysts, what's this guy's name? Michael Saylor and others are announcing that this is the time when crypto takes hold. This is the moment where cryptocurrency prices are going to go higher. And it's kind of up in the air. It's left to be seen. Everything is kind of lined up. And I dare say economic policies for crypto, things from the SEC, the news that we've been getting about ETFs and applications and acceptances. We're still in that time frame for those of you who missed it. It is meant to be September and October when we get the bulk of the ETF applications either approved or denied. So things look pretty good on our side, but as people assumed, that Wall Street getting into the space, the reason why Bitcoin was created was to get away from Wall Street after the 2008-2009 crash. So when things like this happen, I always remember me saying that in other videos, me looking at the comments and people calling me crazy or stupid and I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because Bitcoin, and I'm like, well, when you the reason we created Bitcoin was to get away from the monsters. When you let the monsters in on the party and everyone claps and loves when you have all these rich people taking over the space, this is what happens. So we'll see what happens. There's meant to be more job data and more information from the Fed. Banks are now expecting that we could see another news about rate cuts sometime in November or December. Shrug. possibly. People are expecting a lot more rate cuts sometime next year, but that's where we currently are. Yeah, the cryptocurrency market had a bit of a tumble, and it was because of all the other things that are happening around the planet. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens to crypto, because once again, everything is lined up. All the news about XRP, Solana, and Dogecoin, and blah, blah, blah coin all getting their ETFs. We're here. So let's see if our market does an actual turnaround. Would be nice. This is what the analysts have been saying for some time now. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all, I dare not say the word enjoyed as prices are going down, but hope you're well informed as to what's going on. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.